Hello everyone, welcome to Full Moon Movies. Cocktail isn't just about flashy bartending or tropical romance. It's about the ambitions and contradictions of a man who wants it all but can't decide what all even means. Directed by Roger Donaldson and starring Tom Cruise as Brian Flanagan, the film begins with the kind of youthful hunger that defined 1980s America, a belief in climbing ladders fast, fueled by ego, charm, and just enough talent. Brian returns from military service and immediately sets his sight on making it big in New York. But what unfolds is less about Wall Street and more about neon-lit world behind the bar counter, where charisma becomes a currency and the line between dreams and delusion blurs. As we go in detail about the key characters and development, we can see that Tom Cruise plays Brian with a combination of bravado and vulnerability that perfectly captures the essence of someone who thinks he's a future tycoon but is constantly wrestling with self-doubt. At first, Brian is cocky, almost insufferable, full of slogans and get-rich-quick plans. But over time, we begin to see the cracks. The more he chases success through bars, women, and schemes, the more lost he becomes. He's not just serving drinks, he's serving a version of himself and he hopes others will believe in. Brian Brown's portrayal of Doe Colin, the older and wiser bartender who takes Brian under his wing, provides the film's most intriguing dynamic. Doe is both mentor and antagonist, a man who once believed in the same dreams and now hides his disappointment under layers of sarcasm and Colin's law, which is his homemade philosophy on life. Their friendship is electric, full of rhythm and banter, but beneath that lies rivalry, jealousy, and ultimately betrayal. Doe serves as a warning for Brian, a vision of what he might become if he mistakes flair for substance. On the key scenes that solidifies the film's emotional core happens not behind the bar, but on a beach in Jamaica where Brian falls for Jordan, played with disarming naturalness by Elizabeth Shue. Jordan isn't impressed by his act, but she sees through the performance, and for a moment, Brian is forced to stop spinning and just be still. Their romance becomes a turning point, a place where the noise fades and the real connection surfaces. But Brian's internal conflict doesn't go away, and when temptation in the form of a wealthy older woman arrives, we watch him self-destruct just when his closest to something becomes real. Now it's that contradiction, his fear of failure and his need for validation that drives the tragedy in his arc. The cinematography by Dean Samler brings a sleek, saturated palette to both the sleek bars of New York and the warm, sun-drenched beaches of the Caribbean. The lighting often captures the mood of Brian's state of mind. In the city, everything is fast, artificial and high contrast, much like his hustle. In Jamaica, the visuals soften. There's space to breathe, both literally and emotionally. The contrast isn't just aesthetic, it's thematic. The bar scenes are choreographed like musical numbers with bottles spinning, musical blaring, and crowds cheering. It's hypnotic, almost like a Broadway performance, and it cleverly masks the emptiness underneath. The soundtrack is pure 1980s gold, with songs like Kokomo by the Beach Boys becoming synonymous with the films itself. The music isn't just background, it's part of the experience, infusing the story with a carefree, almost escapist energy that sometimes feels at odds with the darker undercurrents. That tension between fantasy and reality is what gives Cocktail its staying power. It lures you in with the showmanship, but it doesn't let you leave without reminding you of the cost. Now, looking at the art design and style, Cocktail captures the late 1980s hippie culture with precision. The sleek suits, the minimalistic upscale bars, the power lunches, and the aspirational hustle all reflect a time when appearance and ambition were often mistaken for achievement. Now, the production design makes each location feel like a stage for performance, especially in New York, where every setting reinforces Brian's obsession with image and success. Now, though the film was released to mixed reviews, it was a box office success, crossing over 170 million worldwide against a modest budget of around 20 million. Now, that commercial performance is a testament to Cruise's star power and the film's ability to tap into cultural mood of the time. People weren't just watching a movie about bartending, they were watching a fantasy of success, escape, and redemption. But the movie isn't without its critics. Some have argued that the plot's shift from romance to melodrama to redemption just feel abrupt, and that Brian's transformation is rushed in the third act. The tone jumps from upbeat to tragic and back again, which can feel uneven. For example, though sudden suicide, for instance, feels jarring and perhaps underdeveloped. Yet, this abruptness also reflects how life can unravel quickly when identity is built on illusions. Now, what makes Cocktail still relevant today is its commentary on the illusion of success. In a social media driven world where everyone is constantly branding themselves, Brian Flanagan's arc feels strangely modern. He's the prototype of the influencer selling lifestyle, projecting confidence, chasing validation. Now, the movie's real power lies in the moment when Brian strips all that away and decides to build something real with his own bar, his own values, and with someone who doesn't need him to perform. In the end, Cocktail is more than just a movie about bartending tricks and romantic getaways. It's about the seductive danger of chasing someone else's definition of success. And in that journey, it reminds us that authenticity, not applause, is what ultimately brings peace. Now, this movie is a must watch.